Many years ago in the land of Canaan, there lived a man named Jacob and his large family. Among all his sons, there was one young man who was especially loved by his father. His name was Joseph. Joseph was the son born to Jacob in his old age, and because of this, Jacob showed him special affection. Genesis 37, verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful robe, a coat of many colors, something that none of his other sons had. But when Joseph's brothers saw this special treatment, their hearts became filled with jealousy and anger. They felt that Joseph was being favored above them. Instead of loving their younger brother, they began to resent him. They could not speak kindly to him anymore, and bitterness slowly grew in their hearts. One night, Joseph had a dream. In the dream, he saw himself and his brothers working in the field, tying bundles of grain. Suddenly, Joseph's bundle stood upright, while the bundles belonging to his brothers gathered around and bowed down to it. Joseph did not fully understand the meaning of the dream, but he told his brothers what he had seen. Genesis 37, verse 7. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and, lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. When his brothers heard this, they became furious. They said among themselves, "Do you think you will rule over us one day?" Instead of being happy for Joseph, their jealousy grew stronger. Later, Joseph had another dream. This time he saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowing down before him. Joseph told his father and his brothers about this dream. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, "Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me." Even though his father wondered about the meaning of the dream, Joseph's brothers became even more jealous of him. Their anger toward him continued to grow day by day. Genesis 37, verse 9. One day, Joseph's brothers went far away from home to take care of their father's sheep. After some time, Jacob asked Joseph to go and check on his brothers and bring back news about their safety. Joseph obeyed his father and began the long journey to find them. But when the brothers saw Joseph coming from a distance, their hearts were filled with hatred. Genesis 37, verse 18. And when they saw him afar off, they conspired against him to slay him. They said to one another, "Here comes the dreamer. Let us kill him and throw him into a pit." But one of the brothers convinced them not to kill Joseph. Instead, they decided to throw him into a deep, empty pit. Joseph cried out and begged his brothers for mercy, but they refused to listen. They removed his beautiful coat and cast him into the pit. Not long after, a caravan of traders traveling to Egypt passed by. The brothers decided to sell Joseph as a slave. Genesis 37, verse 28. And they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. Joseph was taken far away from his home and his family. When Joseph arrived in Egypt, he was sold to a powerful officer named Potiphar, who served the king. Even though Joseph had lost everything, his home, his family, and his freedom, God had not abandoned him. and the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man. Joseph worked faithfully and honestly in Potiphar's house. Genesis 39 verse 2. Because of his wisdom and diligence, Potiphar began to trust him. Eventually, Joseph was placed in charge of the entire household. Everything Joseph managed began to prosper. But once again, trouble came into Joseph's life. Potiphar's wife tried to tempt Joseph to do something wicked. Joseph refused because he feared God and wanted to remain faithful. Angry and embarrassed, she falsely accused Joseph. Because of this lie, Joseph was thrown into prison, and Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison. Genesis 39 verse 20. Even in prison, Joseph remained faithful to God. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy. Genesis 39 verse. Soon the prison keeper began to trust Joseph and placed him in charge of the other prisoners. While Joseph was in prison, 2 servants of Pharaoh were also imprisoned. Both of them had strange dreams that troubled them. Joseph told them that the interpretation of dreams belongs to God. Joseph explained their dreams, and everything happened exactly as he had said. Genesis 40 verse 8. 2 years later, Pharaoh himself had disturbing dreams. None of the wise men in Egypt could explain them. Finally, one of Pharaoh's servants remembered Joseph in prison. Joseph was brought before the king. Joseph told Pharaoh that God was revealing the future. There would be 7 years of great abundance in the land, but after that, 7 years of terrible famine would come. God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. Pharaoh recognized that God's wisdom was with Joseph. So Pharaoh placed Joseph in charge of preparing the nation for the coming famine. Genesis 41, verse 25. See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. Joseph went from being a prisoner to becoming the ruler over Egypt. Genesis 41, verse 41. Years later, the famine spread across many lands, including the land of Canaan. Joseph's brothers traveled to Egypt to buy food. When they arrived, they bowed before the ruler of Egypt, not realizing it was Joseph. Eventually, Joseph revealed himself to them. Instead of taking revenge, Joseph forgave them. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good. Joseph saved his family and brought them to live safely in Egypt. Genesis 50, verse 20. And through Joseph's life, God showed that even suffering can become part of a greater plan. Even when Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and taken to Egypt, God still had a plan for his life. Bible verse, Genesis 50, verse 20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Joseph's brothers became jealous because their father loved him more, and their jealousy led them to betray him. Bible verse, Genesis 37, verse 4. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Even after Joseph was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and thrown into prison, God did not abandon him. Bible verse, Genesis 39, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Please, if you love this story, subscribe to our channel and on your notification bell. Don't forget to share to others. God bless you.